So the Holy Spirit, and that's what we're really focusing, by the way, in our and some of my teachings right now, because God says, I make my thoughts known to men, but we have to discern those thoughts by his Spirit. And so honoring Holy Spirit, we can see things happen, just like we're talking about what took place in the 70s. So God used this one hippie, Lonnie Frisbee, to shift Chuck Smith, who began the Calvary Chapel movement, and Vineyard with John Wimber, and on Mother's Day did all that, and God just shifted. But guess what? He went to Europe. The same hippie, God used the same hippie, anointed by the Lord, and went to Europe and rocked Europe. As a matter of fact, this is one particular lady that went with him. They were going to Sweden. Her name is Debby Kerner. And it's kind of, you can hear her, she's living a message on the telephone just so she could be a part of what was going on, to tell the story of what took place. And so they all went to Sweden and Europe. And look, you're going to be so shocked when you see what God did. Again, 3 encounters, the Vineyard, the Vineyard lineage, you have the Calvary Chapels, and now God took the same hippie to Europe. Check it out. This is Lonnie Frisbee, somebody who went with Lonnie, and she's sharing the testimony.
Hi, everybody. My name is Debbie Kerner, and I got to meet Lonnie back at the end of 1970 in October. I just wanted to share from my heart just a couple little things that I remember about him that translated into my life in a major way. When I met him, it was at All Saints Episcopal Church in Riverside. I think it was the second time we had a Sunday night service there. And so I get there, and Lonnie's on stage, and he's getting ready to start, and he looks out. We had a good group of people. And Lonnie looks out and to sing. And Fred Waugh stood up and said, well, Dennis isn't here this week, but Debby is here, and she'll sing. I like this guy. I had never seen him, never met him before. And there was Fred saying that I was going to sing at the service. And I said, well, I'll sing if somebody has a guitar. And somebody jumps up and says, I've got a guitar. I've got a guitar out in my car, and I'll run out and get it. And they ran out and brought him a guitar. So I went up and I sat down in a chair next to Lonnie on the stage, and I sang a song, and Lonnie, at the end of the song, literally fell off his chair. Just humorous. He was funny. And it was fun to be around him. My relationship with Lonnie was very light. We did things that were joyful, and we didn't take ourselves too terribly seriously. It was just kind of this thing that we knew that God was going to show up and do something wonderful in spite of us.
Oh, bless you. He's coming back again, believe me.
Are you ready? Are you ready for that meeting in the sky? Are you ready? Are you ready for that meeting in the sky? For the Lord will come like a thief in the night. Angels gonna blow that trumpet with all of his might. Are you ready? Are you ready for that meeting in the sky?
I got to go overseas with Lonnie. I got to meet Catherine Coleman with Lonnie. Lonnie had a relationship with Catherine. So we got to be on her TV show, and we got to sing songs. We got to share from our hearts on that. And that opened even more doors. And going to Sweden with Lonnie and our team of 6 people, that was amazing. We didn't know what to expect. Lonnie just had gotten a letter in Stockholm saying, come, I want you to come and share. Well, we went to a tent meeting in a park. We sang a few songs. There were some people there. It was not a full tent, though it was a large one. It was fairly full, but not packed. They said, we want you to come back tomorrow night, too. And then when we come back the next day, this tent is filled to capacity, and they're starting to overflow onto the sides of the tent. The next day, they said they wanted us to come back again. And they had the sides of the tent up. People were flowing out onto the grass everywhere. This was huge, and now the press had shown up to start finding out what was going on in this park. They came to us and said, we want you to go all over Sweden. And we want there to be services all over Sweden. And have you do just the exact same thing that you did here. We said, well, sure, we can go. We've got your rail passes, and the press wants to follow us around. And they were on the same trains that we were on. And we started crisscrossing all over Sweden. We could do it because we were willing, we were prepared, and we were expectant that God was going to show up. And in my relationship with Lonnie, I think that was the most wonderful gift that I got, was that attitude to always being expecting God to do the miraculous. I just want to say thank you to Lonnie and all the people that have supported him and been there for him through thick and thin. And thank you, Knight, for coming as we celebrate these 3 volumes finally released about Lonnie's life.
Think about that. It's so powerful. She said this when they got to Europe. It was kind of like a thing that we knew that God, he's going to show up and do something wonderful in spite of us. How many people think God's going to move because of us, right? They've maybe went through some religious, cleansing of their lives or something, and all of a sudden they feel like they're just perfect person that can be used by God. But yet God was using this hippie to bust open the Calvary Chapel movement, to bust open the compassion for, to win the hippies, to bust open the joy and the explosion that took place because all the gifts that were breaking out, the spiritual gifts that were breaking out by Holy Spirit, and John Wimber's church, and the Vineyard movement. And now he went to Europe. He's in Sweden. God moves. 6 people show up. It's Debby and Lonnie and a hippie. You're looking at this hippie was just showing up, right? And they just expected God to move. Do you expect God to do something good today in your life? You expect when you gather together with your church family, that God's going to do something awesome? Or do you show up expecting him not to do anything? Thank you for watching the Greg Lancaster Show. Don't forget to follow us, like us, and subscribe. Go to our YouTube channels, Facebook, Instagram, Rumble, Parler, Spotify, iTunes. Download our app, even on Getter. Go to the Apple Store and rate us. When you rate us, more people will get the broadcast. That's how this whole logarithm thing works. And thank you for watching the Greg Lancaster Show.